Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I have already made 5 trips today taking my son back and forth to places. And I've been trying to sit down to do this video because I had it to do. Now, what you're looking at here, this is Jeremy Allaire from Circle, and this is a continuation. We talked about the Visa USDC news earlier. Major USDC news today. Visa has become the first major payments network to support USDC as a native currency and settlement system on its network. This is massive news and marks a major turning point in mainstream adoption of crypto, with USDC being the fastest growing digital dollar currency in the world. Connecting its use to existing global networks will accelerate its adoption as both a store of value and medium of exchange. Now, what you have to remember here, folks, is that as my father, the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel, has told me 1,000 times, and I've told you, nothing happens without Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. So remember that, because I'm going to tie that in today, okay? What I'm telling you is, here's who's in the game. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, right? I'm writing this down. Remember, so you've got Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan. I'm going to tie that in. You've also got XRP and Stellar, okay? We're going to tie that in too, all right? So pay attention, because if you just looked at what the news shows you on this, in their headline, it's about Ethereum. It actually has nothing to do with Ethereum if you really break it down. Watch this. So here we go. This is Jeremy Allaire's thing, and I retweeted it. And I added on the part where Stellar, and it's from this page right here on Stellar's website, USDC is coming to Stellar. Look at what it says right here. This is when they're announcing their partnership with USDC. Not to mention that USDC users will benefit from Stellar's near instant settlement and transaction fees at fractions of a cent. Remember, I've always told you on here, I believe XRP and Stellar are brother-sister. This is what they have. They have interoperability and they have near instant settlement, and their fees are way below, almost zero, okay? So that's the value. That's what none of these digital assets that you're seeing can get around. That's why I keep telling you it's all about XRP and Stellar, and it always has been. But don't take my word for it. I'm not just going to tell you that. Let's look around and see. Remember, this is Jeremy Allaire from Circle. Okay, where else have we seen Jeremy Allaire? Remember the IMF high-level advisory group, which meets in Singapore to deepen discussions. Remember how we had Christine Lagarde, and then we had Brad Garlinghouse here, and we had Jen, I think her name was Jen Chang, who was with Ripple, and she had gone to the IMF and the Fed and all of that, right? Well, in this high-level advisory group, we also had Jeremy Allaire right here, okay? And then down here we had, so remember, Jeremy Allaire, Circle is backed by Goldman Sachs. You also had on this thing, Blythe Masters, board member of Digital Asset. Where did she come from? She created the credit default swap while she was at JP Morgan for her career, and then left to get into the digital asset space. I've always believed she is the representative of JP Morgan. And then you also had Chris Larson on this high-level advisory board, who represented Ripple, of course, as the chairman. Well, what did we see? This is back October 18th, 2020, after watching Ripple hanging out at the IMF. And we never saw a lot of Stellar, but in 2020, Stellar, it's like Stellar was activated to all of a sudden they were able to be seen with the IMF. And so we saw them pop up, and the Stellar CEO was on an IMF panel on cross-border payments. And then, so then she eventually popped up, and Stellar was going to do a USDC partnership, right? Okay. So then we've also been talking about this. Ripple pilots a private ledger for central banks. Well, have you ever asked yourself, what central banks are we talking about? Because they've said they've been working with over 50 of them. Well, this is all tied together, folks. All of it. Remember this? Remember back, this was back January 23rd, 2020, when the World Economic Forum, who's a sister organization to the IMF, it's all the same people, WEF CBDC Policymaker Toolkit. They literally put together this central banker, they called it a CBDC toolkit. And they put this, and it was produced by, let's look here. This was put out by the Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution, January 2020, by the World Economic Forum. And in that, they had examples of most relevant for wholesale CBDC, crypto assets designed for interbank or intrabank payments and settlements. Well, here enters JPM, JP Morgan coin, JPM coin listed there, and Ripple XRP. These are for inter and intra-bank settlement, okay? Let's go. Now, what does this all have to do? How does Stellar and Circle come into play here? Well, let's do a little, and Visa. Let's do a little search on CBDC Policymaker Toolkit for Visa. 1, 2. Turns out that one of the contributors to the CBDC Toolkit that showed JP Morgan coin and XRP was, I don't know how you say that, Kai C-U-Y Sheffield. He's the head of cryptocurrency for Visa USA. I didn't even know Visa had a head of cryptocurrency. Well, you'll never guess who else was contributing with him. That would be Jeremy Allaire, the co-founder and chief executive officer of Circle. And by the way, it doesn't hurt to also show you that Sheila Warren was one of she was one of the main people that was working on this. She was at Ripple Swell 2020, right? Okay, so you can see how all of this, and you have to ask yourself, if you ask yourself, what are these central banks? It's all the central banks that were probably handed this central banker policymaker toolkit, same people that are the member list of the International Monetary Fund, and here's the membership list. And it includes all the major countries of the world. In other words, their central banks are all in this together. Okay? Now, do you remember this? This is from Esoteric XRP. He says, do you remember Kendra Hill told us this nearly 3 years ago, that XLM will be the currency, CBDC stablecoins for the people, and XRP will be the global reserve. Quote, they are not rivals, they are brother and sister. Now, this is not me saying this. This is Kendra Hill, who is one of the people that disappeared off social media after saying a lot of intriguing things. And he's retweeting in this, he or she is retweeting in this a tweet from Dan L. Dixon where she says, so happy to share that USDC is now live on Stellar. The integration of the world's leading digital dollar stablecoin brings immense value to Stellar's ecosystem, connecting and creating new business opportunities to optimize payments. Now, in my last video, I showed you this tweet, and since words mean things, I did tell you that this is real XRP boy saying this, not me. But he said, if you ask me, the SEC Ripple beef is a smokescreen to create the illusion perception of government neutrality when it comes to Ripple XRP. Again, his words, not mine. But that word illusion, when I was going through all of this, the word illusion, I remembered the word illusion. It was also written by Kendra Hill. And again, these are not my words. These are Kendra Hill's words. It's just when I remembered that word illusion, and since words mean things, it reminded me to read this to you. And I'm not saying there is a ripple of deception. These are not my words. I'm just reading this to you. Jed McCaleb, co-founder of Ripple and Stellar, supporter of the Lucius Trust, his family ties connecting him to the Federal Reserve and United Nations. I don't know any of this to be true. I'm just reading it to you. In 2014, he moved on from Ripple to create Stellar, giving the illusion that the two organizations were separate. Over here, Jed McCaleb, co-founder of Ripple and Stellar, supporter of Lucius Trust, his family ties connecting him to the Federal Reserve and United Nations. In 2014, he moved on from Ripple to create Stellar, giving the illusion that the two organizations were separate entities. Ripple and Stellar are like brother and sister, each providing something of value in the new world financial system. Ripple is said to be a cross-border payment provider, and with the use of XRP, it will be for a short time. The world will not need a cross-border payment provider when we are using the Lumen. Stellar Lumens will become the world currency, while XRP becomes a store of value. The Lumen is digital silver and XRP is digital gold. The purpose of XRP is to be used in the derivatives market while also acting as a store of value. XRP is not and was never intended to be a currency, nor was it created to be used specifically for cross-border payments. When Codius is released, Flare, we will see its true purpose unveiled. Ripple and Stellar are the keys to the new world financial system, which will be ushered in as the old system collapses. Again, not my words. I want to show you this from Mickey B. Fresh. He says, I adamantly agree. You will be furious after you hear what Jay Clayton says during Fireside Chat with former SEC official to an elite audience of all lawyers at Bar Association 2018. Clayton and SEC 2-year investigation was intended to bully Ripple into registering with SEC rule over Ripple.
From Silicon Valley and maybe from other jurisdictions, Poland or other places. The reason I'm mentioning this is I've heard from various innovators, particularly in blockchain, but not only, that they've decided to move their operations to Europe or Asia because they find that the regulatory environment is more favorable. So obviously, you're playing a very difficult balancing act of protecting the consumer, and so obviously you're playing a very difficult balancing act of protecting the consumer and enabling a fair market. But how do you absorb these insights and the inspiration from other markets?
So, if people are leaving this jurisdiction because they think our model, I'll start with the easy thing. If people are leaving the U.S. because they think our model for raising capital from the general public is too onerous, go. Just leave the U.S. because they think our model for raising capital from the general public is too onerous, go. Just leave, because it's a proven model. We can adapt to new technology, but the idea that somehow we should greatly reduce disclosure, allow a free-for-all trading market, and,
You did it for Ethereum.
They have no custody, no accounting, none of the protections that our capital markets have been around. That's crazy town. So go. Now, should we be looking to add innovation to our marketplace? Absolutely. Like if people can figure out a way to use blockchain technology to make proxy voting.
Okay, so there's that. Now, I wanted to remind you, only 48 hours left until the hard money market madness competition round 2 ends. Test and win $15,000 now. This is a link. I'll put it in the description of this video if you want to be able to read this and see what the rules of that contest are. Kava is one of my sponsors. They're in the description of this video if you want to find this link to look at this contest. Okay, also from CoinDesk, Miami Mayor Francis Suarez says the city should become a clean energy Bitcoin mining hub. Here's an idea. Don't use Bitcoin. Use a digital asset that doesn't require mining. Then you don't have to be a clean energy Bitcoin mining hub. Go figure. Okay, this is interesting. The value of mergers and acquisitions in the crypto sector more than doubled to $1.1 billion in 2020, according to a new report by PricewaterhouseCoopers that was reported Monday. This reminds me of something I wanted to show you. This was provided to me by Mr. B XRP. I forgot to put his Twitter handle in here, but he had sent this to me and he said, check this out. And what he was showing was, this is back August 28th of 2020. On the Link2 platform, they sell private equity to accredited investors, and I've been talking about them. They're a sponsor of this show as well. But I wanted to show this. This thing was selling on June 29th for 30 cents and then went on up to 55 cents. Do you know what Link 2 has Uphold selling for now? $6.50. Now, I just wanted to show you that just to make the point that it's not just digital assets that are going to go crazy in all of this. And don't forget, the Coinbase IPO is next month. And I think they loaded a little bit more of this Uphold. I bought some of this Uphold the other day, but I think they loaded a little bit more of it up there onto the platform today or yesterday. Okay, this is a tweet I wanted to show you. This is from Mark Carney, who was the head of the Bank of England, governor of the Bank of England. Huge announcement today that the core of the global asset management industry, managing over 32 trillion in assets, is committing to addressing climate change and delivering the goals of the Paris Agreement, net zero asset managers. And then, so I saw this and I was like, well, that reminds me of something. Ripple had tweeted this out just a day or two ago, that they are pledging to achieve carbon net zero by 2030. And then this is a quote from the article that Mark Carney had tweeted. Consistent with our fiduciary duty, we will work towards allocating capital to companies with long-term sustainable business practices to deliver better investment outcomes. In partnership with our clients, we will progress towards net zero emissions. It's all connected, folks. All right, wanted to show you this to finish this video off. This is a video of an NFT art show in Beijing. You want to see where the world's going? Watch this. I'm not going to show any more of that, but it's kind of cool. And I guess you can walk up and buy those things as well. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that this word illusion keeps popping up. Thank you for listening.